The Chiefs lost. Daniel Jones played good at quarterback, and my Raiders won. Football is back, baby. We are done with week one of the NFL and we head into week two. So I'm going to do my weekly NFL predictions. So before I get into week two, we're going to do a quick recap of week one. And I mean it, I'm going to do a very quick recap. I was right in choosing the Eagles to beat the Cowboys. Also, I went 11 and 5 in week one. I was correct in choosing the Eagles to beat the Cowboys in a very messy and sort of sloppy game with a lot of controversy with Jalen Carter spitting on Dak, and Dak spit first, but Dak didn't spit on Jalen Carter. And Jalen Hurts did a really good job running the ball and making some good passes, but there was almost no offense in the second quarter from both teams. It was just a sloppy play. And honestly, kind of underwhelming. Then the Brazil game, I was wrong in choosing the Chiefs to beat the Chargers. The Chargers surprised everybody. They only had 20% of the votes here to win. And damn it, they proved all of us wrong. The Chargers have a great defense. Justin Herbert looked like a top 5 quarterback in that game, and the Chiefs weren't doing it. They looked sloppy. They didn't look like they were on the same page. And everyone is loving it because they're the only team in the AFC West to not have a win. Then on our Sunday games, I was correct in choosing the Bengals to beat the Browns, although it was just a very messy and slow and boring game from both sides, even though the Browns should have won with a field goal at the end, but whatever. I was wrong in choosing the Dolphins to beat the Colts. Daniel Jones, like I jokingly said, tore apart the Dolphins, and the Dolphins were just a mess. They couldn't get anything done right. Tua had 3 turnovers, a fumble, and 2 picks, and one of them I was like, okay, he tried to sail it over a defender, but he just overdid it. But the other pick, yeah, that was on him. It's just a bad throw. And yeah, the Dolphins look like one of the worst teams in the NFL. They might be the worst team in the NFL based on this pathetic performance. And Daniel Jones, is he good again? Or is he good? Is he going to tear apart the league? We'll have to find out and see. Because remember, it's only week one. Then I was correct in choosing my Raiders to beat the Patriots in a kind of slow start of a game, which then got into a very much more competitive defensive struggle in the second half. But damn, the Raiders look good. And I'm happy that we beat Josh McStupis. Josh McDoofus. I was trying to say Josh McStupid or Josh McDoofus. Then I was correct in choosing the Commanders to beat the Giants. And the Giants also look like one of the worst teams in the NFL. Nothing went right for them. The Commanders didn't really have to do anything. They could have won the game with just 1 touchdown, as they beat them 21-6. I was correct in choosing the Cardinals to beat the Saints, and Saints fans, you guys shouldn't be worried because you don't look like the worst team in the NFL. Spencer Rattler made some good throws. He looked good out there. And maybe having an entire offseason to compose yourself might just be what you need. And the Cardinals, on the other hand, looked pretty good. Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray have a great connection. The Saints almost came back to win at the end, but Juwan Johnson dropped the pass from a beautiful throw by Rattler. But ultimately, they lost. And that's unfortunate because they did do their best to come back. Then I was correct in choosing the Steelers to beat the Jets, unfortunately, because I really wanted the Jets to win. Justin Fields looked amazing out there. He was going toe-to-toe with the Steelers. And honestly, this is kind of disappointing for the Steelers to have such an elite defense, but yet you're letting the Jets roll all over you. Or just any team in general roll all over you like that. Although Aaron Rodgers did look really damn good out there. And I think a lot of people are going to be wrong about Aaron Rodgers, myself included. I just thought he would be fine. I didn't think he would look that damn good, though. Justin Fields, on the other hand, wow, you look great. And Jets fans, you shouldn't be worried because this was a damn good loss. Unfortunately, elite defense from the Steelers knocked you out of this game. And it sucked because I honestly thought on that final play, Justin Fields could have trucked those 3 defenders or at least ran away from them to get the first down. But whatever. Jalen Ramsey is elite still, and he knocked the ball out from whoever Justin Fields threw the ball to. Then we got the Buccaneers beating the Falcons. I was correct in choosing that by a field goal. There was some weird controversy surrounding some penalties, and also the Falcons at the end of the game ran a play, but then after the play was ran, the refs were like, hey, actually, the play before, we're going to spot the ball differently. And that was just kind of weird. but Younghoe Koo missed the game-tying field goal, and the Falcons signed a new kicker, I think, or they're looking for a new kicker. I think the Niners who signed a new kicker. Then I was wrong in choosing the Panthers to beat the Jags. Yeah, that was just kind of a sad performance. Bryce Young didn't look that great. Only one throw to Hunter Renfrow, which is what I was really looking forward to, seeing Hunter Renfrow. And Trevor Lawrence looked good out there. I didn't really watch much of the game. I can't really say much about it. Then I was correct in choosing the Broncos to beat the Titans in a very sloppy and underwhelming game in which Bo Nix threw multiple picks and Cam Ward looked good out there. It's just unfortunate that Calvin Ridley dropped multiple passes, just like how CeeDee Lamb dropped multiple passes for the Cowboys. And unfortunately, it was the defense for the Broncos that kept them in the game, and just sloppy play from both teams. I was correct in the Niners beating the Seahawks, and that was kind of I didn't expect it to be that low scoring of a game. Apparently, there were a lot of missed field goals from Jake Moody, I think, is the kicker for the Niners. And Sam Darnold got strip sacked, or he just sort of fumbled the ball on his own, or I think he hit his lineman when he was trying to throw the ball. At the end of the game, Brock Purdy made some good throws, and unfortunately, George Kittle's out for the next week, so we'll have to see what happens there. I was incorrect in choosing the Lions to beat the Packers. They lost 27-13. The Packers recently added Micah Parsons, and that really helped them out. And Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs just look really damn good. The Lions couldn't get it done, unfortunately. And maybe it's because losing the coordinators, I'm not sure. But hopefully this isn't the end for the Lions, because remember, it's just week 1. I was correct in choosing the Rams to beat the Texans 14-9 in a very underwhelming game. Yet again, low scoring. Texans couldn't even score a touchdown. But Matthew Stafford was out there making some great throws, so good for him for being alive. Then I was incorrect in choosing the Ravens to beat the Bills in a very electric game for Sunday Night Football, where the Bills came back down 15 with about, 5 minutes left in the game. Derrick Henry fumbled the ball. Then the Ravens defense just got stomped on all over by Josh Allen and the Bills, and they were able to kick the game-winning field goal as the clock ran out. Josh Allen just looks like the best quarterback. And remember when I said I think the winner of this game will go to the Super Bowl? So, yeah, damn it. I really wanted to be Lamar Jackson because he was electric all game. And Derrick Henry was also electric all game. And it just seemed like the Bills weren't even there. They always seemed close, but it didn't look like that the Bills could ever come back. But holy shit, that fumble from Derrick Henry really changed the tides, and the Ravens defense just got stomped on all over in those final 5 minutes. So yeah, that's quite unfortunate because I really wanted Lamar Jackson to win because he looked incredible all night. But Josh Allen, just incredible on his part as well. Then I was correct in choosing the Vikings to beat the Bears. And it's weird because it was what I thought it was going to be for the first half. Slow, boring, sloppy play. But in the second half, both teams started to pick it up. Especially J.J. McCarthy for the Vikings. I thought that Justin Jefferson was going to pull a Tyreek Hill and just be extremely pissed off at the entire team and want to get out. But no, J.J. McCarthy just looked incredible in that second half. And unfortunately, the Bears just couldn't pull together to make it back. They got a pick 6 in the second half. And I said, okay, 2018 Bears defense is back. But nothing else really after that. And just a lot of miscues, a lot of penalties on the Bears side. And I don't know. It just didn't look so hot for the Bears. All right. Now, we move on to my Week 2 predictions. Starting off with Week 2 with our Thursday Night Football game. We got the Commanders taking on the Packers. So both of these teams looked really good in Week 1. But I'm going to give the edge to the Packers here because they looked so much more dominant. The Commanders could have easily walked all over the Giants, just like how the Packers walked all over the Lions, because the Giants are a worse team than the Lions. But the Packers just looked so much more dominant and electrifying, and I like their roster a whole lot more. So, real quick, easy, going with the Packers on this. Let's move to our Sunday games. We got the Jags taking on the Bengals, and I'm going with the Bengals on this. They have a more well-rounded team. Nothing about the Jags really excites me all too much. And I'm just hoping that the Bengals defense doesn't crumble against Trevor Lawrence and the Jags. That might be the case, but the Bengals have to win this game. They're the more well-rounded team. So I'm going with the Bengals on this. Then we got the Giants taking on the Cowboys. The Giants, because the Cowboys fucking suck. I'm sorry. I messed up my entire joke. um, the Cowboys, because the Giants fucking suck. Then we got the Bears taking on the Lions. I'm going with the Lions on this. Okay, let's go back to the Giants and Cowboys. I did this last week with the Giants. I thought I could do it again, but I fucked up my entire joke by saying that the Cowboys fucking suck. The Cowboys. That was an interesting game against the Eagles to start off the season, with Jalen Carter being taken out before the first offensive snap. The Cowboys just walked over the Eagles, and I thought, oh shit, the Eagles lost their mojo, but the Eagles answered back, and unfortunately, it just never seemed like the Cowboys were there. I knew the Eagles were gonna win. I knew that the Cowboys were just gonna fuck it all up, and that's what happened. CeeDee Lamb dropped multiple passes that would have changed the game. And yeah, Dak still looks good. He's still making good throws, but unfortunately, I really don't see much for them in terms of winning a playoff game and or making it past the divisional round. That's just gonna be the song and dance all year. Cowboys are gonna win these games that they should win against teams like the Giants. They have to, because the Giants fucking suck. Nothing went well for them on Sunday. Russell Wilson didn't even look that hot. He made a few throws here and there, but unfortunately, nothing worked out for them. Who are the 8% of these people choosing the Giants to win this damn game? Who? I don't even think Giants fans think they're going to win this game next week. In this NFC East divisional game. Yeah, that's with who the hell thinks that's going to be a win for them. So yeah, I'm going with the Cowboys on that. Okay, back to the Lions and the Bears. The Lions were off to a struggling start, and they just couldn't pull it together. The Bears looked pretty damn good. They had their first opening possession touchdown since the 2023 season, because they didn't have one all 2024, which is kind of sad. But Caleb Williams does look pretty damn good. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it done against the Vikings, who just mollywopped them. I'm sorry. The score looks close, but for some reason the Bears just couldn't. They didn't feel like they were in the game really after the second half. The Lions, on the other hand, I think they have the much better team. Hopefully they can get it together. And this is a NFC North divisional game, and I'm just hoping that the Lions can get it back together, because everyone wants the Lions to do good, especially because Dan Campbell is their coach and everyone loves Dan Campbell. But they don't got their OC or their DC from last season. So yeah, let's just hope that the Lions can pull this through, because I still love that team. I still love the weapons they have. So going with the Lions. Then we got the Rams taking on the Titans. I'm going with the Rams on this, because you got the better quarterback in Matthew Stafford. Cam Ward did look good for a few moments here and there, but remember, he's a rookie, and the Rams just have the much better team. I want Cam Ward to do good, but unfortunately he's stuck on the Titans, and they're just not an exciting team. The Rams, on the other hand, are good. And Matthew Stafford, he's still slinging it. Somehow, he's still slinging it. I want to look at the Rams real quick, because I think there's a receiver that they picked up in the draft that I think everyone was talking about. I don't know. No, I think I'm thinking of another team. But yeah, he's still slinging the ball to Nakua. Adams even got in there. So yeah, this just looks like a pretty damn good, well-rounded team. They're gonna be competitive and a pain in the ass for anyone in this league. So I'm going with the Rams on this. There's nothing really exciting about the Titans except that Cam Ward looks good, and hopefully he should be your franchise guy, and hopefully you can support him throughout the years. Then we're moving on to the Patriots taking on the Dolphins in an AFC East divisional game. I'm going with the Patriots on this. Let's talk about that Raider and Patriots game. Damn, who is the Patriots quarterback? I don't know why I can't think of the Patriots quarterback at the moment. I watched the damn game. Sorry, I just need to look this up for a second. Drake May, that's right. He looked good. He was slinging the ball quite a bit. He had an interception, a kind of an ugly interception. I think he got hit on that throw. But other than that, Drake May looked pretty good, and the Patriots were keeping up with the Raiders, but that was more so just a not so good play from both teams for a bit there. The Dolphins, on the other hand, just couldn't get it together. Special teams miscues, turnovers, Tua getting sacked a few times, that defense getting shredded by Daniel Jones of all quarterbacks. So yeah, nothing's looking so hot for the Dolphins. I think everyone's on the hot seat, and people are complaining about Tua not taking accountability. I think he's just more so in shock that he did what he did, throwing all those picks. It's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate because we all want the Dolphins to do good. We all want Tua and Mike McDaniels to do good, but I think if they can't get it together within the next few weeks, I think Mike McDaniels is going to be gone halfway through the season. That's unfortunate. People are joking that he's going to be the Lions offensive coordinator. If that happens, I think that'll be pretty funny. But yeah, the Patriots just look a little better, even though they couldn't score all too much last week. Then we're moving on to the Niners and the Saints. I'm going with the Niners on this, just because they're the better team. Although George Kittle is out, you still have Brock Purdy, and Brock Purdy is going to make these amazing throws that's going to keep you in this game. The Saints, on the other hand, don't look like the worst team like everyone thought they were going to be. I think that's going to go to either the Giants, the Panthers, or the Dolphins, based on how that first week went. The Saints, they look good. They can move the ball. Spencer Rattler can move the ball, and he is mobile. He can throw the ball pretty well too, but they just couldn't get it done, unfortunately. But they're not going against a team like the Cardinals. They're going against a team like the Niners, much more competitive with a stronger defense. We'll just have to see how they do without George Kittle there, but we know Brock Purdy can deal with a beat-up Niners team. Hopefully that more Niners don't go down, though, because Brock Purdy will be in the shit if last year happened again. So Niners are taking this game pretty easily, I think. Although the Saints defense does look pretty good. They did get a lot of pressure on Kyler Murray. Then we move on to the Bills taking on the Jets in a AFC East divisional round. That's funny. All AFC East teams are playing each other this week. I'm going with the Bills on this just because of that electric, dominating final few minutes in that Sunday night game. The Jets don't look that bad, honestly. Their defense could use some tightening up, which is strange because for the past few years they've had a great defense. But unfortunately, you're going up against the Bills, your older brother who's just time and time again just smacked you around. Except for that one game that we don't speak of that Aaron Rodgers got hurt in. But yeah, this is just a... What are you going to do? Josh Allen looks like the best quarterback in the league right now. And the Jets, Justin Fields, you look really damn good. And I want the best for you. I really hope you can somehow overcome the might of the Bills. Because damn, they're good. The Bills are good. And hopefully they can keep that momentum up. And especially well into the playoffs, so they can finally take down Mahomes and the Chiefs. And what I'm predicting is that they're not going to make the championship game. The Chiefs, I mean. I don't want to curse the Bills. Anyway. Then we move on to the Seahawks taking on the Steelers. I'm going with the Steelers on this. The Seahawks didn't score a lot of points. Sam Darnold was making some good throws, but you're going up against a dominant defense like the Steelers. And the Steelers have arguably probably the best defense in the league. Also, you have a very strong offense. Aaron Rodgers looks really good. He has DK Metcalf as well. And he made some pretty good connections with him as well. I'm just going with the Steelers on this. I really think that the Steelers are going to make a run and somehow crap the bed in the playoffs because that's what they do. And they're going to start off with beating up on teams like the Seahawks, who aren't bad, but there's not a whole lot going for you. Not that there's not a whole lot going for them, but starting off 0-2, which I think they're going to do, is quite unfortunate. Let's look at the Seahawks real quick. I watched the highlights from that game, and they look good. I'm going to say they look good. Sam Darnold went 16 for 23 with 150 yards, and they had a rushing touchdown, and the looks about it. Just a few field goals. I like Sam Darnold. His resurgence last season was great, but I don't think it was. I didn't like that the Vikings let him go. Um, but unfortunately, that's how the cookie crumbles, and he has to learn an entire new scheme. And unfortunately, he has to go up against arguably the strongest defense of the league. So I didn't mean to say earlier that like this Seahawks don't have nothing going on for them, but I do think they're going to start 0-2 against a pretty dominant Steelers team as of now. Then we move on to an AFC North divisional game with the Bengals taking on the Ravens. I'm sorry, the Browns taking on the Ravens, and I'm choosing the Ravens. What more can you say? The Browns are a mess. Joe Flacco didn't look all too bad. He had a touchdown, but he also threw a pick, and a very costly pick at one point in the game. Lamar Jackson, on the other hand, just looked electric, and they have the more well-rounded team. Hopefully they can stop Myles Garrett, because Myles Garrett almost had 4 sacks in a row on Joe Burrow, which is insane. Who gets multiple sacks in a row, in the same drive, play after play? Myles Garrett's incredible. I just wish he went to a different team instead of chasing the money. Because remember when he said, "I'm requesting a trade because I want to win a championship with a team," and then a day later he's like, "Oh, I'm staying with this team because I love this town," and yada yada bullshit. You just want the money, as we all do. But you're not going to win anything with the Browns. So unfortunately, you're stuck there because your quarterback situation is also hell. You could have gone to a team like the Ravens, who just look electric, but unfortunately they started 0-1 because the Bills were incredible that game. So yeah, Ravens are taking this pretty handily, I think. Then we got what I think might be a pretty entertaining game. The Broncos taking on the Colts. Now, a part of me really wants to say the Colts are gonna take this game, and that Daniel Jones is gonna shred apart the Broncos defense. But I'm not gonna do that to myself. I'm gonna be realistic here and say that the Broncos are gonna take this game, because although Bo Nix threw a few picks, he did look good otherwise, and also that defense is really strong, getting 6 sacks on Cam Ward, and it was six sacks from 6 different players. So that means that defense can strike you any way possible. And the Colts' offensive line looked pretty damn good against the Dolphins, but it was the Dolphins who looked pretty sorry. So I'm going to say this is going to be a close game, a close, sort of sloppy game. But my gut's telling me that the Broncos have to take this game. I really want to choose the Colts because, again, how I should have done last week, it would have been really fucking funny if I chose them, because I didn't think that's what was going to happen. But, I got the Broncos. Then we got the Panthers taking on the Cardinals. I'm being realistic. The Cardinals. The Panthers have let me down last week. Bryce Young, I want you to do good. I really do. But something's got to change. I thought Renfro being there would have done something. But you only threw to him once. He only has 1 reception. The Cardinals, on the other hand, looked pretty good against the Saints. I wish they scored a little more, but they got the better quarterback and they got the better roster. So Cardinals are taking this game. Then we got... Oh, not the Sunday night game. This is not the Sunday night game. It's just the Super Bowl matchup that should be the Sunday night game, which is the Eagles taking on the Chiefs. Eagles. Although both teams looked pretty underwhelming in week 1, the Eagles came out with a win because the team that they played against crapped the bed. The Chiefs have a loss because the team they played against were really damn good. And I'm just hoping that this is going to be a rematch of the Super Bowl, in a sense that the outcome will be the same, with just total domination from the Eagles onto the Chiefs. And I'm just hoping that's the case, because Jalen Hurts just looks that damn good. He was running the ball, he was throwing the ball, and yeah, I think that's it. I don't want the Chiefs to pick it up. Let's have the Chiefs start 0-2 in this season and keep them at the bottom of the AFC West, because that'll be really funny. So yeah, Eagles, please, your only hope. Then we got the Sunday night game, which is an interesting one. The Falcons taking on the Vikings. The Falcons looked pretty good with Michael Penix Jr. he made some really damn good throws, and I think he's their franchise guy. The Vikings are the Falcons, but better. It was a little bit of a slow start, but as the game went on, they became much more competitive. And my gut's telling me to pick the Vikings because they looked more explosive. They looked more fun. They looked more dynamic. So I'm going with the Vikings on this, especially coming off of a electric Monday Night Football win. I want Michael Penix Jr. to do good, but especially with that Brian Flores defense, which was pressuring the Bears offense all night, my gut's telling me that the Vikings are taking this. Then we got what I hate the most, the doubleheader Monday Night Football games. We got the Bucks taking on the Texans and the Chargers taking on my Raiders. So let's start off with the Bucks and the Texans. Bucks. I don't really know how much to say. Better quarterback, better roster. They looked much more dynamic in week 1. The Texans, on the other hand, just couldn't get it done. They couldn't score a touchdown. They only scored field goals all game. And it didn't look so great for them. I'm going to look up the Texans stats real quick because I didn't see much of the highlights from that side. C.J. Stroud, 188 yards, went 19 for 27 with 1 interception. Nick Chubb, who we all want to do great, only got 60 yards on the night from 13 carries. And the Bucks, didn't the Bucks pick up a receiver in the draft that did really good for them in this game? What's his name? Egbuka, scoring 2 touchdowns, and he also scored that game-winning touchdown. That's a great steal for them. 67 yards off of 4 catches. That's great. And yeah, let's just hope that they can keep it going. I don't think they got Chris Godwin as of now, but if they can do that against a pretty competitive team within the Falcons, as competitive as that game was, I think the Bucks can carry this on and take on a lowly team like the Texans, who we all thought were going to take the South. But unfortunately, it might be the Colts this season. It might be the Jags. But with the way that the Texans played in week 1, and remember, it's just only week 1, I'm not sure they're going to be able to take on the Bucks. Then we're moving on to the Monday Night Football game, the second, part 2. The Chargers taking on my Las Vegas Raiders. My gut is telling me that the Chargers are going to take this game pretty easily because of how they were able to decimate the Chiefs. Not decimate as in like it was a total blowout, but they were able to dismantle them and just profit off of their tiny mistakes, such as Chris Jones not containing the outside, so Justin Herbert was able to run on the outside to get the first down to seal the game away. My Raiders, on the other hand, look not too shabby. I wish our offensive line was better because Geno Smith was pressured a few times, but there were moments where he had a lot of time in the pocket. He was able to make those really damn good deep throws. He had 1 interception, but it was kind of tipped off from the defender as he was going for Brock Bowers. But I'm happy that Geno Smith had the day that he had. Let's look it up. He had over 300 passing yards, which is the most for a quarterback's, at least a Raiders quarterback, first game debut. And that's pretty insane. I just want to look this up just to be sure. Yeah, he had 362 yards. That's a lot for one game. With a touchdown and a pick, going 24 and 34. Our rushing game didn't look so hot. Ashton Genty, our first round pick, only got 38 yards, and he averaged 2 yards off of 19 carries. He did get a touchdown, though, and that was a pretty impressive touchdown. But unfortunately, we didn't have a whole lot else going on the run game. Yeah, it's quite unfortunate. And with a strong team like the Chargers, with a great defense that they have, I think it's going to be our passing game that's got to do their best to save us, because I don't know if our rushing game is going to be able to do much against the Chargers. But if they could if the line can give Geno Smith a lot of time in the pocket like he did, I think he's going to be able to get off some pretty great throws. And he was able to get the ball around quite a lot. He had 7 different receivers who caught a pass. And I was glad to see Michael Mayer in the mix as well because he was our tight end draft from a few years ago. And Brock Bowers stole the show from last season. And Brock Bowers is our leading receiver with 103 yards. He didn't get a touchdown. That went to Trey Tucker on a pretty great touchdown throw. And Thornton Jr. had a great sliding catch that kind of won the game for us, kind of kept us in it near the end. But I just don't know if it's going to be enough to overcome this Chargers defense, and especially with how great Justin Herbert looked. He looks like the best quarterback in the league outside of Allen and Jackson. And he threw 3 touchdowns. Justin Herbert, he went 25 to 34 for 318 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's insane. And two of them were to Quentin Johnson, and one of them was to Keenan Allen, who came back for them. And he was also spreading the ball around as well. And they got a few sacks. They only got 1 sack on. They got 2 sacks on Mahomes, which is great. And yeah, the Chargers can fuck you up. I want my Raiders to win. I want my Raiders to prove me wrong, but unfortunately, I'm going with the Chargers on this. And let's see, how many points will be scored in the Chargers versus the Bears? I was wrong with the Bears and Vikings. I'm sorry, Chargers and Bears, Chargers and Raiders. I was wrong with the Bears and the Vikings game. I think this is going to be another high-scoring game, so I'm going to say 50. All right, so those are my Week 2 NFL picks. Who's your favorite team? How do they do in Week 1? How do you think they're going to do for the rest of the season based off of Week 1? After seeing Week 1, especially with how we were in the game for quite a bit, with how we struggled, but how we overcame that, I think my Raiders are going to be fine. I initially had us winning about 6 games this season. I'm hoping we can get to 9-8 at least. So, who did you choose to win the games in Week 2? Tell me what you thought about them in the comments below, and I'll be back with more enjoyable content like this. So, yeah, bye.